Nefertiti was a queen of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten. Nefertiti and her husband were known for their radical overhaul of state religious policy, in which they promoted the earliest known form of monotheism, Atenism, centered around the sun disk and its direct connection to the royal household. With her husband, she reigned at what was arguably the wealthiest period of ancient Egyptian history. Some scholars believe that Nefertiti ruled briefly as Neferneferuaten after her husband's death and before the ascension of Tutankhamun, although this identification is a matter of ongoing debate. If Nefertiti did rule as pharaoh, her reign was marked by the fall of Amarna and relocation of the capital back to the traditional city of Thebes. She was made famous by her bust, now in Berlin's Neues Museum. The bust is one of the most copied works of art of ancient Egypt. It was attributed to the sculptor Thutmose, and it was found in his workshop. Nefertiti had many titles including Hereditary Princess, Grade of Praises, Lady of Grace, Sweet of Love, Lady of the Two Lands, Main King's Wife, Great King's Wife, Lady of All Women, Mistress of Upper and Lower Egypt. Almost nothing is known about Nefertiti's life prior to her marriage to Akhenaten. Scenes from the tombs of the nobles in Amarna mention that Nefertiti had a sister, named Mutbenret. Further, a woman named Te carried the title of Nurse of the Great Royal Wife. In addition, Te's husband I carried the title God's Father. Some Egyptologists believe that this title was used for a man whose daughter married the pharaoh. Based on these titles, it has been proposed that I was in fact Nefertiti's father. However, neither I nor Te are explicitly referred to as Nefertiti's parents in the existing sources. At the same time, no sources exist that directly contradict I's fatherhood, which is considered likely due to the great influence he wielded during Nefertiti's life and after her death. According to another theory, Nefertiti was the daughter of I and a woman besides Te, but I's first wife died before Nefertiti's rise to the position of queen. Whereupon I married Te, making her Nefertiti's stepmother. Nevertheless, this entire proposal is based on speculation and conjecture. It has also been proposed that Nefertiti was Akhenaten's full sister, though this is contradicted by her titles, which do not include the title of king's daughter or king's sister, usually used to indicate a relative of a pharaoh. Another theory about her parentage that gained some support identified Nefertiti with the Mitanni princess Tutankhamun, partially based on Nefertiti's name, which has been interpreted by some scholars as signifying a foreign origin. However, Tutankhamun was already married to Akhenaten's father, and there is no evidence for any reason why this woman would need to alter her name in a proposed marriage to Akhenaten, nor any hard evidence of a foreign non-Egyptian background for Nefertiti. The exact dates when Nefertiti married Akhenaten and became the king's great royal wife are uncertain. They are known to have had at least 6 daughters together, including Meritaten, Meketaten, Enkisenpeten, Neferneferuaten Tashret, Neferneferuar, and Setepenra. She was once considered as a candidate for the mother of Tutankhamun, however a genetic study conducted on discovered mummies suggests that she was not. Nefertiti first appears in scenes in Thebes. In the damaged tomb of the royal butler Perennefer, the new king Amenhotep IV is accompanied by a royal woman, and this lady is thought to be an early depiction of Nefertiti. The king and queen are shown worshipping the Aten. In the tomb of the vizier Ramos, Nefertiti is shown standing behind Amenhotep IV in the window of appearance during the reward ceremony for the vizier. During the early years in Thebes, Akhenaten had several temples erected at Karnak. One of the structures, the mansion of the Benben, was dedicated to Nefertiti. She is depicted with her daughter Meritaten, and in some scenes the princess Meketaten participates as well. In scenes found on the Talatat, Nefertiti appears almost twice as often as her husband. She is shown appearing behind her husband the pharaoh in offering scenes in the role of the queen supporting her husband, but she is also depicted in scenes that would have normally been the prerogative of the king. She is shown smiting the enemy, and captive enemies decorate her throne. In the fourth year of his reign, Amenhotep IV decided to move the capital to Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna. In his fifth year, Amenhotep IV officially changed his name to Akhenaten, and Nefertiti was henceforth known as Neferneferuaten Nefertiti. The name change was a sign of the ever-increasing importance of the cult of the Aten. It changed Egypt's religion from a polytheistic religion to a religion which may have been better described as a monolatry or henotheism. The boundary stele of years 4 and 5 mark the boundaries of the new city and suggest that the move to the new city of Akhenaten occurred around that time. The new city contains several large open-air temples dedicated to the Aten. Nefertiti and her family would have resided in the Great Royal Palace in the center of the city and possibly at the Northern Palace as well. Nefertiti and the rest of the royal family feature prominently in the scenes at the palaces and in the tombs of the nobles. Nefertiti's steward during this time was an official named Merir II. He would have been in charge of running her household. Inscriptions in the tombs of Huya and Merir II dated to year 12, second month of Parate, day 8 show a large foreign tribute. The people of Karu, the north, and Kush, the south are shown bringing gifts of gold and precious items to Akhenaten and Nefertiti. In the tomb of Merir II, Nefertiti's steward, the royal couple is shown seated in a kiosk with their 6 daughters in attendance. This is one of the last times Princess Mekhetaten is shown alive. 2 representations of Nefertiti that were excavated by Flinders Petrie appear to show Nefertiti in the middle to later part of Akhenaten's reign, after the exaggerated style of the early years had relaxed somewhat. One is a small piece on limestone and is a preliminary sketch of Nefertiti wearing her distinctive tall crown with carving began around the mouth, chin, ear and tab of the crown. Another is a small inlay head modeled from reddish-brown quartzite that was clearly intended to fit into a larger composition. Mekhetaten may have died in year 13 or 14. Nefertiti, Akhenaten, and 3 princesses are shown mourning her. The last dated inscription naming her and Akhenaten comes from a building inscription in the limestone quarry at Deir Abu Inis. It dates to year 16 of the king's reign and is also the last dated inscription naming the king. In 2012, the discovery of an inscription dated to year 16, month 3 of Akhe, day 15 of the reign of Akhenaten was announced. It was discovered within Quarry 320 in the largest wadi of the limestone quarry at Deir Abu Inis. The 5-line inscription, written in red ochre, mentions the presence of the great royal wife, his beloved, mistress of the 2 lands, Neferneferuaten Nefertiti. The final line of the inscription refers to ongoing building work being carried out under the authority of the king's scribe Penthu on the small Aten temple in Amarna. Nefertiti's burial was intended to be made within the royal tomb as laid out in the boundary stele. It is possible that the unfinished annex of the royal tomb was intended for her use. However, given that Akhenaten appears to have predeceased her, it is highly unlikely she was ever buried there. One shabti is known to have been made for her. The unfinished tomb 29, which would have been of very similar dimensions to the royal tomb had it been finished, is the most likely candidate for a tomb begun for Nefertiti's exclusive use. Given that it lacks a burial chamber, she was not interred there either. In 2015, English archaeologist Nicholas Reeves announced that high-resolution scans revealed voids behind the walls of Tutankhamun's tomb which he proposed to be the burial chamber of Nefertiti, but subsequent radar scans showed that there are no hidden chambers. Everyone believed that her tomb is still hidden inside the Valley of the Kings.